Raikan Topaini is for Thai drama lovers only. Sawadee-kha! Hello and welcome to Axelle's Guide to Thai Dramas. I'm Axelle, and the Thai drama we're talking about today is Pluto. If you're looking at the video, you can see me smiling because this is the third time that I'm recording this episode. I have been suffering due to my microphone. I don't know what has happened, but this is the third time. So already we have a show that, spoiler alert, has disappointed me tremendously. And then we also have the fact that I have had to complain about it for 2 times and now it's the third. So I'm going to try to not be too bitter about that today. But my annoyance is probably gonna come true, okay? I am sorry. I would like to preface this by saying that I know this show is extremely popular. One thing you're gonna learn quickly with this podcast and with me is that sadly, most of the popular shows that are huge, super viral, super popular, I don't like. It's not because I'm trying to be special, to be not like other girls, but it's because I genuinely find a lot of flaws, and some of them are not redeemable with the shows. So you can think, close your eyes, think about any Thai drama that is super famous, super popular, and you can assume that I'm probably not gonna like it. And of course, when I will make an episode on on those shows, I will always give reasons why I don't like it. So I'm hoping, even if we disagree, that you can see my perspective, why I don't like these shows, why they disappointed me or whatever. And I also want to remind you guys that it's okay to disagree with me. I am not like the god of Thai dramas. Don't consider myself the one with the only correct opinion. I do think the great thing about Thai dramas is that I've never met two people, no matter their age, where they're from, who they are as a person, who have the same top 10 favorite Thai dramas. Even if they can have similar shows in those top 10s, it's never in the same exact order. And that's what I love about Thai dramas, is that there's a diversity of opinion. And today, I'm gonna exert that. We're probably not gonna agree. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay, girlie. And I also want to say that I feel like shows fit in a few categories. There is the shows that you were super excited about before they air, like when they're announced, there's a teaser or mock trailer released, you love the cast, or you don't love the cast but you love the story, like something pulls you in, and then the show gets released and it's either as good as you were excited for it to be, or even better. So for me, these shows are extremely rare. I would say it's like less than 1% of the shows I watch. And these shows obviously always become my favorites because there is not only the excitement and anticipation of it before it aired, but then it actually delivered on that excitement and anticipation, which is very rare. So shows like, actually my 2 favorite shows of all time, I Thought Sunset About You and Not Me, which I am gonna mention every single episode. It's the rule. Are both shows that I was extremely excited for during the production and then delivered even more than I ever expected, to be honest. So this is the first category. Then there's the second category. These are shows that you're not super excited for, you kind of have zero expectation for, but actually turn out to be really, really great. And these shows are so good because I always call them the unexpected surprises. And there's so many shows that have done it for me. There's My Cherry Amour, which an episode on that is coming very soon. Recently in 2024, there was also Knock Knock Boys, which was a really great surprise for me. And these kind of shows are great because you kind of have no expectation going into it. And then they kind of win you over either all at once or like slowly. And you're kind of like, you didn't have to stress about whether or not this show would be good in advance. You just get to enjoy it as a nice little surprise. So I love this second category as well. Then there's shows that you weren't really excited for and then sadly kind of were kind of matching your expectations. So even though those shows are not good, at least there's no loss there. You didn't spend months or sometimes over a year getting hyped about a show that actually disappointed you in the end. And then the last category, the one that Pluto belongs to, is a show that you were so tremendously excited for and actually ends up disappointing you. This is the worst category because no one likes to be disappointed. And especially me. Actually, when I was in therapy, I was in therapy for 4 years when I was like a teenager, young adult. And one of the recurring themes was that I have a really bad time with being disappointed. I promise I have worked on it in therapy, but it's still one of my like personality traits that I don't handle disappointment so well. I handle it better nowadays, but still. So this is why I hate this category extra hard. It's because you have this show for so long, you get stressed and anxious about whether or not it's gonna deliver, and then it actually doesn't deliver. So there's no payoff, and it's so frustrating. I hate that so much. So that's why maybe I'm gonna have a few harsh little words about Pluto, but I was really excited for this show. So let's get into it. My first impression of Pluto was actually on film. I filmed myself reacting to GMMTV 2024, the lineup, and I think this might still be on my channel. If it is, it's on my main channel called Axelle Loves Thailand. You can check it out. I will link it if it's still online. Sadly, GMMTV loves taking down my reaction. They've taken out my GMMTV 2025 reaction. They've taken out my GMMTV 2024 part 2 reaction. So hopefully my reaction to Pluto is still up so you can see how fucking excited I was. This was the same time that The Trainee was unveiled, and I was more excited. My number one show from this lineup was Pluto before The Trainee. And I never choose other shows above an Afghan show because I'm an Afghan girly through and through. And I still did, because that show, like, when I watched this mock trailer, it shocked me in every way. It shocked me mostly because of the pairing. The thing with Namtan and film is that these are two of my favorite actresses, and they've been for a very long time, way before they were paired together. Namtan I've been aware of pretty much since I've started watching Thai dramas. I believe she joined GMMTV like in 2017 or 2018, pretty much when I started watching Thai dramas full time. And she's always been kind of a side character, but where she won me over, it's in Who Are You, I think in 2019 or 2020, where she was the main character. And then you have also Jan Ploshampu, another one of my favorite actresses. And both of these girlies in that show really they ate down. And I loved seeing Namtan in the main role because I really realized how good of an actress she was in a way that hadn't been really demonstrated before, because she'd only been put in side roles. So I've always loved Namtan. I've always considered her one of the prettiest Thai actresses. I think she has this very elegant. I love my tall girlies. As a tall girlies, I love tall girlies. So I love when like a girl looks like very elegant, like a little bit like a princess. She's giving like royal, not that I'm pro royal at all. I mean, I'm French, come on. You know what we did to royals. But it's just in general, like I really love Namtan. I found her absolutely gorgeous. And when I saw her in Who Are You, I really realized her potential as an actress. And since then, I've always rooted for her. I've always, like, she's been in my top 10, top 5 favorite actresses for literally at least 6 years or something. Yeah, a while. And then you have film. Film has been kind of a sleeper agent for me, but I think today she is perhaps my second or third favorite actress. Like, I think I love her a little bit more than Namtan. Because first she was in Not Me, my favorite show of all time. Again, I have to bring up Not Me in every single episode, but also, and she ate in Not Me, even though I didn't really love what she did, like what they did with her pairing and character, whatever. I loved her in Not Me. I love the bangs. The bangs in Not Me were eating, girl. But apart from that, I've always loved film for a while. I think it was like 4 years ago or 3 years ago that I noticed her potential. I criticized GMMTV a lot, especially for the treatment of their female actresses, but which is getting a little bit better now that GL has become profitable, and now they exploit actresses like they exploit BL actors. But that's a whole other topic, okay? That's more of a main channel thing than this podcast. But what I appreciated is that even though film was not that big, like she had, like, I followed her. I think when I followed her, she had 100 or 200,000 followers on Instagram, and they still like put her in a lot of shows, and they paired her with a really big actor like Nanon. They've actually paired her with him like twice, and I actually have seen a film in real life at the premiere of the My Precious movie. She's gorgeous, and I really have always rooted for her secretly. In a way, I think the way I've rooted for her and View, for me, these were the two newbies that I noticed the most and rooted the most for, like, a few years ago, because I think both of them are really incredible actresses that have an amazing range, that can kind of do any role, and that are both like gorgeous, nice, kind, a little bit more introverted, which I love. I love my introverted girlies. And yeah, I just love film. I think film is my fave. I do love her. I do love her a lot. Like, and also I learned recently that she's a baby, so she's an Afghan fan. I mean, she's the luckiest baby of them all. I mean, she got to star in, like, without a doubt, the best Afghan show. I mean, the best show of all time, not me. Again, I'm a girl. Yeah. And she got to, like, have a ship with Gunnar Taupan, like, in 2 different shows. Like, girl, she ate down. Okay? She ate. All of that to say that she even played his fucking sister in Homeschool. Anyways, so all of that to say that when I saw these pairings, it was already 2 actresses that I adored for the longest time, and that I wanted to get more opportunities to have main roles, to be like front stage, you know, front and center. And so you can see in my reaction, I was dying. I almost had a heart attack because I saw the chemistry, and in my opinion, Namtan Film have some of the best chemistry I've seen in a while. They're one of the only few ships that I care about. I say that very carefully because I have very bad luck with ships. The only ship that I've shipped and that has never let me down, disappointed me, broken up is Afghan, and I'm so lucky for that. Thank you, kings. But apart from that, like, sadly, most of the ships I loved Drake Frank. They broke up in weird ass fucking circumstances. Honestly, I could do a whole, like, detective podcast about, like, the Drake Frank story and the Frank Tanatsaran military service thing, because that's what's fucking crazy. But anyways, and then I love Tommy and Jimmy from Domondi. They broke up. I love View June. They broke up. Girlie, I have been so unlucky. Now I shut my mouth. So at the moment, the only ships that I love Joss Gawin. Now Joss did some fucking weird ass shit and never talked about it or addressed it. I just, at this point, I don't ship anyone. But apart from Afghan. Again, Afghan keep feeding me bestie. But Namtan Film I love, Ubum I love, and now recently I fell in love with Emmy Bunny. Emmy Bunny, my bestie. Anyways, this is not the Us episode. It's gonna come very soon. All of that to say that when you pair 2 actresses that were already in my top 10, top 5 favorite actresses of all time, of course I'm gonna eat it up. And so the first impression of this show was the best first impression anyone could ever get. I almost fucking died. I almost had a heart attack. I almost cried at that fucking mock trailer. I was like, oh my god, like, this is gonna be my Roman Empire. And sadly, it's been all downhill from there. So let's move on. So for the synopsis, this show, like a lot of Thai dramas actually, it's kind of a basic ass plot, but it's complex enough that it's kind of hard to summarize. So you have twins. You have Ai-un, she's the older sister, the main character of the show, a little bit more masked, a butch queen, if you will. I'm joking. She's not butch. She's a little bit more masculine. And she's kind of the loser of the family, because she doesn't have a job. She hasn't graduated. She kind of is lost in her life, pretty much. And then you have Op-um, who is the younger sister, much more feminine. She's a flight attendant. She kind of got her shit together. So there's this opposition between the twins. Of course, any show, the thing that I have to acknowledge is that like Thai dramas love their twin stories. I mean, again, my favorite show of all time, Not Me, does have a twin story. Very similar with Pluto, with the sense that, spoiler alert, Up-Um is gonna get into a coma and Ai-Un is gonna pretend to be her, which is also kind of the basis for Not Me as well. But this is a thing that many Thai dramas, Thai lakorns have done. Like, Thai series love their twin stories. I mean, even on GMMTV, there's a third story with the same... I mean, who are you? Who are you? The same exact thing. Who are you? With Namtan Tipnari. So Namtan Tipnari has already played twins who pretend to be one another. And then we also have Love Bipolar, a show that no one watched. It's cute. Anyways, with Tony Racken, I love Tony Racken, so I am biased. But where he plays also twins, one is gay and he has to pretend to be his gay brother who is in a coma, who is like a makeup artist, and he falls in love with the girl, but the girl thinks he's gay, blah, blah. Anyways, so all of that to say, it's a very common trope. There's been already 4 GMMTV shows with this trope, and I'm sure there's countless non-GMMTV shows with this trope. So it's not an original trope. I don't mind it. Now, Up-Um is getting married to this guy Paul. On the day of her wedding, she tells Ai-Un, so from now on I'm gonna call Ai-Un I and Up-Um okay? So she tells I have a girlfriend, a secret girlfriend, go break up with her. I is shocked. He's like, what? You've been to timing, you're a cheater, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, blah, blah. She's upset. She says, I'm not gonna do that. That night after the wedding, Paul and get into an accident. Paul dies on impact. Gets into a coma for way too long. We're gonna talk about that. So, because is in a coma, then I decides, oh, maybe I should do something about that. Maybe I should go break up with her girlfriend, blah, blah. So she goes to her girlfriend, played by Firma Chanan, who's called May. And the girlfriend is blind. And she kisses her. When May kisses I, for the first time in her life, feels love. She's shook. She's shaken to her core. Now May is blind because of a whole thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that. So all of that to say, and this is the basic synopsis. The basic synopsis is I pretending to be her sister and never saying to May the truth. We're gonna get into that. Now for the characters. So the characters, we have Ai-Un. Ai-Un is the main character. And I don't really love Ai-Un. I don't hate her. She's a little bit blonde to me. She's a little bit blonde. She's a little bit boring. She doesn't really have a backbone. Like, if you're gonna have a little slightly masked main character, like, make her be like Zadie, you know what I mean? Like, I want Zadie material. But all of that to say, for me, Ai-Un was kind of a miss. I don't know. There's so much about Ai-Un that left me very, like, uncaring. I don't really care for her that much. The one thing that I love about Ai-Un, so basically Ai-Un and Up-Um were raised by their grandma because their parents died when they were very young. And I like the idea, the family drama, because Ai-Un has always felt very overlooked by their grandma. And then later on, spoiler alert, we learned that Up-Um also has felt that their grandma preferred Ai-Un. So Ai-Un felt like the grandma cuddled Up-Um so much that she didn't care about Ai-Un. And Up-Um felt that the grandma cuddled her so much because she felt like Ai-Un was so much better and more responsible. So both of them had deep wounds, and actually I did like this part of the family drama. It's actually one of the only parts in the show that didn't fucking annoy the shit out of me. So I kind of like that. And so Ai-Un is very lost in her life. As I said, she's like a delivery driver, and she's has stopped doing her studies. She didn't tell her grandma. She pretended she graduated. So she's also a little bit like secretive, not like super honest. Like, she kind of has no backbone. And Ai-Un, I think her biggest flaw is that it doesn't make so much sense that I think she doesn't tell May that she's not her sister for like 10 episodes out of 12. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy work, okay? And for me, it didn't work, and it kind of did impact her character. I feel like she's a little bland, little boring. She's not atrocious, and again, we're gonna talk about May Beach, but and we're gonna talk about the fact that I didn't like the characters, because it is one of the reasons why for me this show was a flop. So then we have May. So May, oh Lord, May, I think for me is the character that ruins kind of the whole show. May, at first, I loved her, okay? So May is an attorney. She has went blind in an accident that we're gonna unfurl in a minute. And she is very, very, like, badass. She's quite flirty. She like is strong. She has a very toxic dad, and what I loved about May the most is that usually in Thai dramas, and this is one of my least favorite tropes ever, is that in Thai dramas they love having toxic parents never face any consequences, never be told right from wrong from their kids, never being cut off. Like, Thai parents will be toxic in a show from episode fucking 1 to episode 11, and then in episode 12, out of nowhere, they will become nice. Which does happen in this show, by the way, spoiler. But, I loved in the first part of the show when May was actually standing up to her dad, because this is something that is unseen in Thai dramas, which I do understand, because Thai society is very much about family first. Like, it's a community-based show, especially it's a community-based country, especially family-based country, and there is the idea of respecting your elders much more than in the West. So it does make sense, but at the same time, there's so many dramas that have come very close to cutting off toxic parents, and they never do it. And it infuriates me, because for me, there's no justification to keep a toxic parent in your life that literally wants your downfall sometimes, which is the case for May's father, by the way. So it's just the worst. And so I actually liked May at the beginning, because I'm like, okay, she's strong-headed, she's like a bad bitch, she knows what she wants. Like, I love these types of characters. It's very refreshing. But then May turns out that she's extremely manipulative. Spoiler alert. Even though Ai-un is lying to May the whole time, pretending she's Op-um, we learn I think it's halfway through the show that May actually knew all along that this is not Op-um, but this is Ai-un. We'll talk about that too, why she knows, etc. But so we know that she also has been lying, and she does it in a very deceiving, manipulative way. And then she gets her sight back. We're gonna talk about that as well. And she doesn't tell Ai-un at all. And again, it's very manipulative, very deceitful. And this is when I cannot care for May anymore, because she is extremely manipulative in a way that is not justified, in my opinion. That doesn't work. It works for the plot. It does mean that the plot continues to go, the lies continue to go, and the lies are the plot in a way. So it's the only way that the plot could have continued until it reaches 12 episodes. But in my opinion, and we're gonna get to that, it's bad writing. It's terrible writing, in fact. And that's why May is a really terrible character, and I hate it, because I love film. Once again, she's my fave, and they kind of ruined her for me, like in this. We're going to talk about that. Now, for Op-um is a character that, again, spends most of the show in a coma. She's extremely weirdly written. We don't really know. At times she feels like a villain. At times she feels like a poor, like, victim. Like, it's very hard to understand what she's supposed to be. And usually I love characters that don't, like, exactly fit in boxes of tropes. I like characters that are a little bit free, like, but this is not the case. This is just a poorly written character, a poorly developed character. We don't really get her. And when we do, we feel a lot of pity for her, but in my opinion, it's at the detriment of the couple of Ai and May, which we're supposed to root for. We're gonna get into that. So then we have the grandma. The grandma, from what I heard, at least halfway through the show, I saw some memes that the grandma is super hated in the fandom. Personally, I don't get it. I think the grandma is an interesting character, because especially in the end, when it's revealed that she actually also hurt Op-um. So Ai-un was hurt, Op-um was hurt for the same reason, but interpreting it a different way. I think it's very interesting, because usually that's how family drama goes. Like, someone will feel one way about something, and someone with the same exact thing will feel complete opposite way, because that's how humans are. We're very complex with feelings, and family dynamics are extremely complex, especially since their grandma raised them since they were like 5 or 6 years old. So I don't hate the grandma, I don't love her either, but like she's not, like, for me, she's not the worst character ever. Now we get into the love triangle of this show. So I was super excited for this show also because in the mock trailer, we had the couple of Saizi and Kapuk announced. Now, Saizi and Kapuk also have been actresses that I've rooted for the longest time. Saizi has been one of my favorite actresses for the longest time. She's sadly always only been in like side roles, which pisses me off because I find her like super cute, super talented, like she dances really well. And I loved CZ as a girl group as well. So I just love Saizi so much. And then we have Kapuk. Kapuk, I've always rooted for her as well. I've hated that they've always put her inside, especially villain roles. And I loved, for example, in The Player in 2021, when they put her finally in kind of a main role. Well, it's an ensemble cast, but she was kind of finally in a main role. I feel like finally she was kind of getting a little bit of material to be able to act, and I think Kapuk is extremely underrated. I'm so glad that lately she's been a lot more popular and people like obviously see how fucking gorgeous she is. Hello. And I love her, and I've also seen Kapuk in real life at the trainee final fan meeting, and we had a little eye in the eye, my queen, love that. So I was super excited for this pairing, and then I think during the production they added Earn Priyapat in the mix, so it became kind of a love triangle, and this was, in my opinion, an error. I don't know what happened there. I don't really get what they were doing, but anyway, so we have Peng played by Saizi, Peng, who is Ai-eun's best friend. And when Ai-eun says that she felt something when Mei kissed her, she reveals that she's actually been in love with Ai-eun the whole time. Like, she was in love, then she kind of let it go because she thought that Ai-eun liked guys, but now that she sees that like Ai-eun likes girls, she kind of wants to slide in, you know what I mean? But then the problem is that Peng is actually dating Pim. So Peng is like a plant person. What is that? Like, she has a plant shop, I guess. And Pim is a police officer, the one supervising the case of the accident between Paul and Op-um. And Pim and Peng have been dating for a while. I find it really weird that Ai-eun has never met Pim also, when Peng is her fucking best friend. But anyway, there's a lot of plot holes in this. But anyways, and basically the thing is that when Peng realizes that she loves Ai-eun, she breaks up with Pim, and Pim basically spends the whole fucking show heartbroken. We're gonna talk about it. I fucking hate it. After the trainee, girl. In 2024, we got 2 GL roles for Kapuk, and both fucking broke her heart and watched on the fucking sidelines as the 2 people who broke her fucking heart get together. Like, this pisses me off. And then we have Jan. Jan, for me, is the best character of the show. She's the one character that never fucking annoyed me. She has the cutest wardrobe. She has the cutest room. Like, she's a fortune teller. Like, very original for a fucking role. I'm like, okay, fortune teller, a queer character, like sapphic character, let's go. Like, I love that. And spoiler alert, in the end, again, Pim ends up heartbroken. They do have a 3-way kiss, which I loved. I love my poly shit, but it was not really poly, because Peng and Jan, so Saizi and Earn, end up together, which honestly, it makes sense. Like, the girl with the plants and the girl with the tarot cards get together. It's very sapphic. In my opinion, it's very, very lesbian core. So it works for me. And I do actually love Saizi and Earn together, but girl, my girl Kapuk, bitch, you'll piss me off. Anyways, apart from that, we have, on the Mei side, we have Ploy. So Ploy is presented as Mei's ex-girlfriend, but in the end, again, so confusing, the writing is so bad. It's revealed that she's actually Tone's ex-girlfriend. And Ploy doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. She's here for plot reasons, whatever. And then we have Tone. Tone played by my king, my icon, Amrit Ayut, who is my favorite actor's best friend. Of Jompon and Arm are obviously besties. And they're part of the 91 liners in GMMTV. And Arm, I literally just saw him a few weeks ago at Off's birthday gathering. Slay! Anyways, Arm, in my opinion, has always been a very underrated actor. And Piton in here is also one of the MVPs. Here, he is here just for plot reasons and he's kind of May's lapdog, but you know, he serves the plot, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Then we have Koson. Koson played by Tortina Pan. Koson is Ai-eun's ex-boyfriend. They dated, but they broke up because Ai-eun didn't feel like that for him. And he's also his close friend of him, Peng and Ben. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. And Koson is quite useless, but he's useful for one plot in the thing because he's the one who attacked May. Why? Because Ben, played by Taito Kirati, part of the group, they were doing some fucking like teen gangster shit. I know in Thailand there's this subculture that is now kind of dying out called Dekwan. There's a whole video on YouTube about it, like you can just Google it, but which was about like gangsters on motorbikes, and they would do bets about like who's gonna go the fastest, blah blah. And so it was kind of like the youth that are kind of like purposeless in their life will like ride their bikes and like cause accidents and do a lot of like dangerous shit. And I feel like they're very like Dekwan coded, this friend group. And during one of their times when they're on the motorbike, Ben gets hit by a car by a guy called Batman Girl. Again, Thai nicknames. Anyways, played by Potsupakorn, my underrated king. And he gets paralyzed. And we don't see Ben for most of the show. This is also a huge criticism that I have with it. We're gonna get to it. And so in Rage, Koson, his best friend, goes to avenge the accident. Instead of avenging it on Batman, the guy who actually fucking hurt his best friend, what does he do? He goes to hurt May, who represented Batman in court because her toxic ass father forced her to defend this fucking murderer, like close to murderer. And so basically, because of that, he goes to hurt May goes blind. So he's just there for that. Ben is just there also for that storyline. Very useless characters apart from that. And then the other characters don't matter. So this is all the main characters. As you can see, out of all of them, there's only like 2 that I like. There's Jan and there's Tone. Like, maybe Pim. I like Pim, but she fucking pisses me off because she just gets her heart broken the whole time. Like, it pisses me off. Anyways. Let's get back. So the cast and acting. So the cast is amazing. It's amazing. It's all my favorite people. I love Namtam. I love film. I love Saizi. I love Kapuk. I'm becoming an Earn fan. Honestly, Earn, I'm waiting for her debut in a fucking GL. And I love Arm. Arm has been my underrated fave for fucking years. Again, he's the best friend of my favorite actor of all time. I'm gonna probably become a Thor stan because he's gonna be in Burnout Syndrome in Afghan. And if an actor is in a show with Afghan, then immediately I become more of a fan of them. Hello, that makes so much sense. Yeah, I love most of the people here, but this is why it sucks. And the acting is very good. I do think it's a little bit awkward at times because the writing is so bad. That's the thing with acting. Great acting, in my opinion, we're gonna talk about it. In my opinion, a show can only be as good as its writing. Even though in my opinion, like a show or movie, it's like puzzle pieces, right? It's puzzle pieces, but so you have music is one thing, acting is one thing, cast is one thing, characters is one thing, but the foundation of it, like the corner puzzle pieces that kind of build the whole puzzle from, is the fucking writing. For me, the writing is the most important step to a show. A show can have kind of mediocre acting, but great writing is always gonna be better, in my opinion, than a show with bad writing but great acting, which is what Pluto is, by the way. And so even though the acting is great, there's a lot of crying scenes. Of course, Namtan and film ate that up. It's great, but there's certain moments where the acting feels a little bit false, especially with Peng. So Saizi, again, I love Saizi. I think she's a great actress, but because her character is written so badly, it feels a little bit like it rings false. The performances are good, but because the writing is so weak, it rings false. There's also one of the climax scenes where confronts Ai-eun and May about lying and getting together, and it's a big thing. which for me was really cringy. I hated that scene. But anyways, we have May like sobbing on the fucking ground. It should be like, it should fucking murder you. Because again, I love film. When she cries, I cry, okay? And instead, it felt fake. It felt fake because the writing is so bad. So sadly, this is a show where I feel like the writing impeded on the actual like acting abilities of these actors. Like they did great, but because the writing is so bad, it makes the performances feel fake. Now, I was really impressed with everyone here, especially Amri Dayut. I have to give him his flowers again. I love him. I am biased, but there's one scene where May is crying and Piton starts crying with her, and he didn't have to cry this well and like put his whole fucking Uzi into it, because bitch, he was a side character in that scene, yet he started crying. I was like, bitch, this is good acting. This is when like he didn't need to cry, but he still did it. He still did it because that's what a good actor would do. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, the writing, the acting is great. The cast is great. There's no issue with that. And in fact, they kind of care, like, if you're gonna watch the show for one thing, it's for sure gonna be the chemistry and the acting, without a doubt. Then the writing. Oh my god. The writing, you guys, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let me calm down. The writing, there's so much wrong. I think there's more things wrong with the writing than there's things right. And that's bad. That's very bad. Let's start with the most important part. I think the whole basis of the show, the foundation of the show, is shit. So, the whole plot of the show, the main thing that kind of kickstarts everything, makes I Meet May, is that there is the accident after the wedding with and she needs to go break up with May, and then she pretends to be her sister, right? And when it's revealed that, oh my god. So basically what happened is that when May was 16, she got bullied at the planetarium. So she lived, I think, in Isan region of Thailand. And then she went to Bangkok with her school to the planetarium, like a school trip. And she got bullied there was another school there. She got bullied by these girls. And just as they were about to hit her and everything, you have Ai-un coming to defend her, to save her. But Ai-un, we saw this like in previous flashbacks and whatever, she loves to steal her sister's uniform. So she is wearing Op-um's uniform. And in Thailand, on your uniform, you have your name embroidered. Meaning that May sees her and she reads her fucking name on the uniform and she thinks it's Op-um. Years later, like 20 years later, not 20, 10 years later, we have Op-um almost getting like essayed and at a cafe. Makes no fucking sense. Anyways, I hate when they use essay as a plot point. It pisses me the fuck off. Anyways, all of that. This is a minute detail in the quantity of things wrong with this show. But I'm so mean. I'm sorry. Not so sorry. It's the truth though. But anyways, and so basically May, who's at this point already an attorney apparently, comes and like films here. This is kind of May's like thing. Like she's just gonna film everything and say, I'm an attorney, so I'm gonna take you to court with this footage. I have the evidence. Like that's her go-to move. Like she does this at least 3 or 4 times during this show. And every time I would be like, girl, I mean, you don't need to be an attorney to think to film. Like in 2025, I think like anyone who's being wronged would try to film it to expose their fucking, like the person doing them wrong. But anyways, and so the guy leaves and then Op-um introduces herself. She says, oh, I'm Op-um. And then it all like washes over me. She's like, oh my god, it's the girl who saved me, back in, at 16. And the thing is that supposedly this is supposed to be May's first love. So now, oh my god, there's so much wrong here. But the thing is, she met back at 16 at that fucking planetarium when she helped her from bullies for 5 minutes. This is not first love. I'm sorry if that's me being a cynic. I don't really believe in love at first sight also. I truly believe that love, you can have a crush at first sight, but I believe that love is more than like physical appearance and first impressions. I think love is about like similar values, like core. It's about fitting in terms of personality a lot more than it is like physical appearance and first impressions. So I have to dispel the idea that Ai-un was May's first love because they met 5 minutes and she helped her from bullies. Like this is bullshit. This is dumb. This is again, the plot is fucking as thin as a fucking sheet of paper. Even thinner, bitch. So anyways, and May get together. Now, and May's relationship seems quite nice. It's fine. The only problem is that seems to have like really like possessive and jealousy issue. So we see May having, but again, this is where the writing is so bad. We see that in one scene. There's one scene about that. It's not enough. It's not enough, bestie. We need more. If you want to show us that this relationship is toxic, then you failed. Just like everything about the writing of this show failed. Okay. So they showed one scene where May is having like an appointment with a client in a cafe who's a woman, and May is obviously a fucking lesbian, and so arrives and is like, oh my god, like, she sits down and she's like, oh, I want to come to this appointment, and she stares at the client like, bitch, what do you want to do with my girlfriend, blah blah. And so we see that there is some like possessiveness issues. We do also hear that like May and were on and off and did have their issues. So I'm not saying this was a perfect relationship, but I think to show us that this was a shit relationship that didn't deserve to be together, they did a really poor job. Now, we arrive at the point where May, super like happy with is like, oh, you know, I'm so happy you're also my first love. Like, she finally reveals this story of the planetarium when she was 16, and face drop. She's like, oh my god, like, this wasn't me, this was my sister. Now this is when I lost all. I used to give a lot of like leeway to this show. When this fucking appeared on my screen, this is when I lost all of my good, like, girl, I couldn't take it anymore. Okay, so like, let's say you're dating your partner, you've been dating for at least a year, you're in love, everything is sort of good, okay, you're like, this is my soulmate, we're gonna be together forever, okay, you really love them, and that person tells you, oh, when I was 16, I fell in love with you already because you saved me from bullies. And you realize, oh no shit, this wasn't me. This was my twin sister who wore my fucking uniform. And that's it. You would be like, okay. You might be a little bit hurt. You might be like, oh, like, that sucks that I wasn't your first love, but it was my twin. But what is fucking more important and more, like, is gonna withstand the weight of time more? A fucking 5-minute meeting when you were 16? That is barely a fucking crush. I don't care how much they want to call it a first love. This ain't a first love, bitch. Or a fucking relationship of more than a year. I feel like when I saw this in the show, I was like, this is crazy. Because what those fucking does, instead of thinking logically like I just fucking explained, she fucking breaks up with fucking May. She goes to the hospital after May became blind. Fucking May is distraught, and rightfully so. Imagine you wake up, you can't see anything anymore. And she's filling the room. She's in the hospital. She's like, and then you have just standing there like for like 10 minutes until we see her for like 5 minutes. Just feeling around, trying to touch her girlfriend. And then finally, finally lets her touch her to like tell her that she's here. And she tells her, like, I'm not the one you love. It's my twin sister. This is what prompts despite loving May, to break up with May and get with Paul, the one she married, okay? This is what prompts her to ask I to go, quote unquote, break up with May so I can meet May and they can be together. The whole basis of this show is anchored on so much stupidity from the characters and the writing, subsequently, because the writing makes the characters, that I cannot take this show seriously. The whole foundation of the show is no. The whole foundation of the show is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. The whole foundation of the show is so fucking stupid that it's impossible for me to take anything else the show has to offer seriously. And that is my biggest issue with the writing. Now, there's so many other issues. So many others. Honestly, I could analyze every fucking scene and tell you what's wrong with them. Like, the writing is bad. The characters are bad. They're not likable. The plot is stick thin. The basis, the foundation of the whole show is, again, not even stick thin. It's inexistent, okay? It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It ruined the show for me. It's so bad. And it's so upsetting also. I think one thing also, before this whole like thing, is that I realized quite quickly, I think it was in episode 3 or something, that it was like, I felt like the show was mostly just like cute scenes between I and May, and there was not like much else going on. And I felt like it was a little bit boring and a little bit repetitive as well, because I was like, okay, like we do need to see these characters be cute together because we want to root for them as a couple. I mean, that's kind of what the show hinges on. But, I felt like it was kind of a compilation of fan service moments, like cute moments for this pairing, much more than an actual, like, actualized and realized show that was well executed. And that is also a real flaw of the writing, because the thing is, like, I-un, again, no backbone, not particularly likable, May super manipulative. Once again, like, she lies to I-un, she lies, like, even when she gets her side back, she lies to her that she's still blind. Like, she keeps lying. She's extremely manipulative. She cries towards the end. She starts crying to kind of guilt I-un into like getting back with her, and it feels so manipulative because we've seen her, like, normally a character crying shouldn't feel like guilty. We're supposed to root for her. Once again, we're supposed to root for this couple. But because we've seen her be so manipulative until now, it's kind of impossible for us, or at least for me, to be like, to think that she's crying for real instead of just trying again to manipulate I-un like she's done from the beginning of the fucking show. And then we have like so many other things where the reason like why Koson attacked May is again stick thin. Why didn't he go attack Batman, the guy who actually hurt his friend? Like, everything is so stick thin. Even the dad, the toxic dad. The one thing that I loved about this show is that May was actually standing up to her toxic dad. The dad, out of nowhere, we never get an explanation. Literally in the last episode, he meets with May again after like months of not talking. And he's like all soft. He's like a little soft puppy after having been homophobic and horrible to her, like manipulating her. He even manipulated in tone her cousin into breaking up with Ploy, because he was funding his like medicine studies. Literally, the dad has tried to control everyone in his family, and in the end, he just gets to put on an act of like being a soft, cute puppy, like, oh, now I'm super nice, out of nowhere. We don't understand what justified, what prompted this fucking change, but he just changed it out of nowhere, and we're supposed to accept it, like we accept every toxic parents being redeemed out of nowhere in every Thai drama, and it pisses me off. Again, it's my least favorite trope of all time. I'm so pissed off, you guys. So, it's just so bad. It's just so bad. The characters are not likable. The love triangle, once again, so bad. So bad. We don't understand. We don't get to root for these girls. It just doesn't make sense. I could really rant about every specific thing about the writing, but I think there's so much wrong with the show. The writing didn't succeed at doing anything, to be honest, in particular. There's nothing right. Like, even, for example, this is something that pisses me off, and it's kind of a repetition, because in Love in the Big City, it's kind of the same thing. I'm a writer. I've written my whole life. I love writing. Like, writing has been my first love and will be my last as well. And as a creative, I have like many other hobbies, but writing is my number one in my heart. And I hate it because I feel like Love in the Big City also did that, where you see a writer, my main character, so I-un is a writer, and first of all, they get published out of nowhere, as if getting published was like a walk in the park. Like, getting published is hard. It's maybe a little bit easier these days, because now there is a renaissance of reading and the literature industry and the publishing industry, but it's still very, very hard. And we see them getting published out of nowhere. We don't see them struggle to become a writer. We don't see like the path, the way that they have to make their path to become a fucking published writer. We don't really see, even what I hate is also when they have a writer character, and this is like this is Pluto, this is Love in the Big City, and it's a very like wide criticism to many countless people. I feel like they often use a writer, like movies and series, always use like a writer character to write about themselves in a kind of COVID, like a little bit of a secret way, in a way that then they can have a voiceover reading what the character is writing, and it applies to the show. I don't know if you get what I mean, but in the way that like in Love in the Big City and in Pluto, you see them like write, and it's about the plot of the show that you were actually writing instead of writing an original story. And the thing with writer is that most writers don't actually do autobiographies, especially for your first fucking book. Like, who the fuck are you to write an autobiography? And it's just so fucking random. I feel like, and this is a wide criticism, once again, it's not just about Pluto. I mean, Pluto does that, but I mean, it's nitpicky because Pluto, like, is so bad at its writing with everything else that honestly that aspect is like one of the least important parts. But it's just like so annoying because you're like, okay, so we see I going from this loser girl who kind of doesn't know what she wants to like a published writer successful in her own rights. But we don't see the path to that. Like, we don't, like, she just, like, picks up writing. She picks it up out of nowhere. Like, we've never really seen her have a passion for writing either. Like, I don't know. I feel like it was so forced, and it's another proof that the writing is bad. The writing is bad. They pull things out of their fucking ass. Like, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I'm sorry. It's bad. Everything is bad. Like, Cousin attacking her. Like, the relationship, the friendships don't even feel like that deep. Like, one thing about it is like that Ben, we don't even see Ben getting into a fucking accident. We just hear about it. We don't see his character. We see Ben like once in like episode 2 or something, and then we see him back in episode 11 and 12. We see him in a total of 3 episodes, and he's just like so fucking useless. We don't see him get into an accident. We don't see him like have the consequences of the accident, which would make it better because the number one thing in fucking shows is show don't tell. Show us. You are using a visual medium. You are using a visual medium that can show us everything you're trying to tell us. So show us, instead of having characters discuss the Ben situation, show us Ben getting into the accident, the issue that he had with being paralyzed, his mom taking her own life to get the insurance for him, like everything like this. We needed to see it for it to have an impact on us, but it has zero impact because they didn't show us, because they're lazy, because the writing is bad. I could continue all day. Everything about this is bad. The writing, I'm sorry, but I rarely have such terrible things to say about the writing, but this is really bad. This is really bad for such an acclaimed show. Like, this is an 8.5 on my drama list. An 8.5. You know what other show is an 8.5 on my drama list? Not me. The best show of all time. I'm sorry, but anyone who tries to compare Not Me to Pluto, apart from the fact that yes, they have kind of the same twins in a coma thing, pretending to be each other, blah, blah, blah thing, girl, I'm gonna fight you personally, okay? Because there is nothing in common. Not Me's writing is brilliant. Pluto's writing is fucking trash, okay? Bitch, don't even try to compare, bitch. The last time they tried, like, the last time they tried to compare a show to Not Me, bitch, I get so mad, okay? You can't compare anything to perfection, okay? Anyways, all of that to say, it pisses me off. It's so bad. It's terrible. And to be honest, I don't like to go back to the rating of 8.5. I don't blame it. Like, I know GL shows with a lot of, like, great, like, kiss scenes, chemistry, are very highly rated. Like the first one, once I looked like all the Thai GLs on my drama list, and the third, like top 3 was Gap, Pluto, and The Secret of Us, which are both extremely mediocre. I do think the best of the 3 is actually The Secret of Us. But a Gap, I never finished it. I kind of didn't like it at all. I feel like Sam was such a toxic character. I couldn't stand her, even though I love Prince Aocha. And then Pluto, well, girl, you've been listening to this episode and you know how much this pissed me off. But then The Secret of Us is very mediocre, but like miles better in my opinion compared to these 2 other shows. But when I looked at them, none of my favorite GLs were there. And I think it's because like the GLs that are successful, it's kind of like the same thing for BL shows, is the ones with the great chemistry, the iconic ships. Like, it's more about like fan service, like chemistry, kiss scenes, and this shit will always piss me off, girly. This shit will always piss me off. Like, I will never get why it's that. I feel like a show needs to stand on its own with its writing, with all of its puzzle pieces once again, and not just the fucking chemistry. I am sorry, and not just the fucking kiss scenes, the sex scenes. Like, this pisses me off so bad. I will never agree with that, and we will have to agree to disagree. This is one of the things where I disagree the most with the fandom, and yeah, for me, Pluto did not deserve an 8.5, did not deserve an 8. You're gonna see the grade that I'm gonna give this shit. Anyways, so just the writing really, really poor. Really poor. It dragged everything down, and it pisses me off because I feel like this show had like so much potential. I think, like, for example, in the first few episodes, we have May like talking about what it is to be disabled, about like universal design. We see her outside like struggling because nothing is really made for her as a disabled person. And I love this commentary. Again, it was super surface level. This is also the issue of the show, is I feel like nothing is actually developed enough. Like, everything stays super surface level, which pisses me off. And the thing with May getting her sight back in the end, usually it would piss me off more. There's this show called Bangkok Love Story Split with Nankon Chanon, where he plays a blind guy, and in the end, out of fucking nowhere, he gets his sight back, and I've always hated it. It kind of ruined the whole show for me, even though I loved the show until then. Because I hate the idea that like disabled people are just like waiting to be fixed, and cannot live their lives as disabled people, and their life gets better once they're not disabled. I feel like, I heard something like recently that really shifted my perspective, where it's something that I already thought, but it kind of puts words on it. It's the people are disabled not because of their actual disability, but it's because the world is not actually accommodating for them. And I totally agree with that. I feel like as able-bodied people, we are like taught almost from a young age to not accommodate others and be extremely selfish on that aspect. And although I would have preferred if like disabled characters stayed actually disabled until the fucking end of the show, in the case of May, it does make sense, and they do set it up by seeing her like go to like a sight, like eye appointment, and seeing her like trying to work on getting her sight back. So for me, it wasn't like egregious. It didn't piss me off. And you know, a lot of things piss me off in that show. So yeah, but it's just like, for me, I wish like they would have developed the disabled aspect of the show more, like shown more, talked more about universal design. I don't know much about universal design. Let's talk about it. Let's show us examples. Like, let's go deeper than that, because again, I feel like this whole show is so surface level. So we need more depth. Okay, let's move on from the writing. You know, I didn't like anything about it. I'm sure I'm gonna remember 5 other things that I didn't mention, but it's just like, let's go. Like, I've already ranted enough about that. Now we have the cinematography. So the show is definitely a little bit prettier than like other GMMTV shows. I like the scenes with the stars, even though I never understood why this show is called Pluto. Like, what's the point? I feel like the link with astrology and the stars is so like forced, in a way that is even more forced than, like, for example, 23.5. I feel like 23.5, it made sense. They have the astrology club. It honestly could have been any other club. Like, it wasn't that important. But it worked, especially with the character of Eileen, who believes she's an alien, who loves looking at the stars. Like, it worked a lot better. But in here, like, it's very first, I'm like, what's the point with this? Like, I feel like this show, I don't really associate this show with astrology, with stars, in a way, unless that they forced it and they showed us scenes with them looking at stars, talking about Pluto, talking about the stars, or like the book that I-un and Op-um read as kids called Solar Siblings. Like, it's a little bit too forced for me. I didn't love that. But the cinematography for me is a little bit above other GMMTV shows. Like, it's good, but the thing with GMMTV shows, sadly, is that they're not too original. Like, there's no crazy shots. There's no crazy, like, directions behind them. Like, it's almost always, like, very, very bland. So, you know, it was good. It was good. I liked it a little bit better than other GMMTV shows. Like, it's good. It's not, like, the most memorable, though. Then the ship's chemistry. So I didn't like any of the ships. I didn't like Ai Mei. I didn't like Pim Peng. I didn't like Peng Jan. Like, I didn't like any of these pairings at all. I think they're all like very dysfunctional. They're all quite toxic. And they didn't work for me at all. Now the chemistry is good, especially like between, of course, like I and May. I love Namtan film. This is why, like, I'm so like so divided about this show because I love Namtan Film. Once again, they're my second favorite ship of all time after Afghan. But I hated the show. I didn't like the show at all. So, you know, it's just like, I feel a little bit like divided. But for the couple, like the poly kind of love triangle thing, I felt like the chemistry wasn't too developed because we barely see them and they're very underdeveloped, very badly written. But in the end, I did enjoy the scenes of Sizey and Earn, like having a little bit cute moments. Like, I like this pairing. Honestly, I would love them. In my opinion, the best pairing is Sizey Earn, and I'm a Kapuk Piplo girly. Okay? I'm a Kapuk Piplo girly. I love them in a trainee. I ship them so hard. Then I saw them in real life at the trainee final fan meet. And then during GMMT 2025, they also shared some cute pictures between them. I just love them. I need them. Like, I'm a Kapuk Piplo truther, okay? Then we have the music. The music is like quite like forgettable in my opinion, but I did like that GMMTV actually gave a lot of soundtracks to Namtan and film. I do feel sometimes that GMMTV are quite unfair and like it's very show by show basis. Like certain shows never like don't even get like an original soundtrack at all, like not even like an original song. And then others like get 5 or 6 or 7. Like I feel like Pluto got a lot, especially since I think almost all of them are sung by Namtan or film or both, which is okay, which is nice, but I wish there was a little bit more fairness, like for popular ships, that it was kind of guaranteed in every show that like, like they're gonna have 2 original songs or 3 original songs. I did enjoy the song, so there is that. The music was fine, yeah. Didn't really like notice it so much, but I did enjoy the original songs for it. Okay, now the rewatchability. You know, for me, it's gonna be a 0, bestie. For me, it's gonna be a 0. I never gonna rewatch this show. I have a confession. One thing about me, I'm actually consider myself a really easy audience. Like, I'm quite easy to please. But the thing is, once I'm emotionally detached from a show, it's almost impossible for me to continue watching it. This show, I watched it in 3 separate times. First, I watched like, I think until episode like 7. And then it was still in 2024. Then my parents came to Thailand. We traveled. We had a new year, blah, blah, blah. Then in January, I watched like 3 or 4 episodes. And I arrived at the first part of episode 11. And then I didn't watch anything for like 3 or 4 weeks, okay? Because getting back into it, and I stopped watching at the scene of the confrontation between May and Ai-un, like on that fucking bridge, okay? That is supposed to be the climax of the show. I couldn't get through it. I watched the last 2 episodes of the show in 2 times speed. I never do that. But I couldn't get through it. I hated it. I forced myself because I knew I wanted to make this episode. And again, I've made this episode 3 times now. So, bitch. Anyways, so I really couldn't take it. I had to force myself to finish this show. And for me, that tells me everything I need to know about this show. There is no chance in hell that I will ever rewatch this show. I would rather believe that Namtam's film next series is actually gonna be their first, because I want to erase this fucking show from my memory. It was really bad in my opinion. So 0 rewatchability, but then if you do love Namtan film, if you love this show, then I think the rewatchability factor is high. Again, I am in the minority, I am aware of that. So probably for you, the rewatchability is very high. Then the rating. So again, I told you it's an 8.5 on fucking My Drama List. I gave it a 6. A 6 for me, very bad, okay? Anything below 6, like 7, is very, very bad for me. Like for me, the way I rate is like 10 out of 10. It's perfect shows. Only 2 shows have ever gotten this grade. It's I Told Sunset About You and Project S Kato Souls, which changed my mind, changed my life, cured my depression. Like it really did wonders for me. Then 9.5, it's like great shows with some flaws. It's like Not Me, but actually, to be honest, Not Me is graded lesser than these 2 shows, but it's my favorite show of all time. So I love it more, and it has had longevity in my heart more than these 2 shows, even though these 2 shows also are very big in my heart. Then we have 9. 9 are great shows with some flaws. 8.5, great shows that I enjoyed a lot. Some flaws. Not my all-time faves, but very good. 8, good shows. Shows that I would rewatch, like fun shows, like shows that I really enjoyed. 7.5, shows that are good, but are starting to be a little bit mediocre, a little bit forgettable, like probably I won't rewatch them, or maybe I will. I have a lot of 7.5 that I actually do rewatch, even though they're not that good, but like they're still cute. Then 7, it's a show that was kind of good, kind of mediocre, okay? And then under 7, girl, you don't want to see there. Very few shows actually are under 7. So the fact that I give this a 6 is fucking crazy, you guys. It's fucking crazy. And it's deserved in my opinion. Honestly, it deserves less, but I rate very high. But for me, like, the writing is so terrible. The writing is a 0 for me. Now, how I would fix it, girl. I think I've already said how I would fix it. I would make the characters more lovable. I would make the whole basis of the plot make more sense. The writing needs to be a lot more solid. I would change everything. Honestly, the plot would still kind of be the same, but I would need to change everything. And also I would make the side ship either a poly or not have Kapuk playing it at all. Because, girl, I'm tired of Kapuk getting sad GL roles. This is like, no, I hate it. So lastly, who would like this show? I think a lot of people did like this show. So you can ask them, like, or in the comments, you can let me know why you like this show. But I think a lot of people who are more focused about like the plot rather than characters. I'm a character girly. I need the characters to be really good, really enticing, really well written for me to enjoy the show. And so for me, it didn't work. But if you're more of a plot girly, if you like, for you, chemistry, kiss scenes, like cute scenes, like shippy scenes, fan service scenes are the most important part of a show for you, that is definitely what's gonna work for you. You're gonna like this show. But if you're more like me, where the writing is very important and the characters are very important, then you probably won't like the show. Or if you're like me and you enjoyed this show, please do tell me why. I'm very curious. Let's not kill me in the comments. I'm sorry for not liking your fave. All love, I promise. And anyways, that was it for this episode. I am so done. I hope this version, you get to see it. I am so done. I will not refilm this a 4th time, I promise. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.